Hey there, friends. Ready to dive into the wild world of economics with me? Remember 2008, the financial crisis that nearly broke the world? Yeah, that was a roller coaster, wasn't it? Good times. Well, here's the kicker. We never really bounced back. Sure, things seemed to stabilize for a bit, but the global economy has been stuck in low gear ever since. Like a car that just won't shift out of first. We're talking sluggish growth, weak investment, and trade wars that make the Cold War look like a friendly snowball fight. Fun, right? It's like the economy is a car stuck in traffic and the driver keeps hitting the gas and the brake at the same time. Frustrating, isn't it? The result? A whole lot of noise, a whole lot of frustration, and absolutely nowhere to go. Sound familiar? Now economists have a fancy term for this: economic malaise, secular stagnation. Sounds serious, right? It basically means that we're in a prolonged period of low growth with no end in sight. Yikes. And before you dismiss this as just another boring economic theory, consider this. The International Monetary Fund, the organization that lends money to countries in need, has warned that the global economy is facing its weakest medium-term growth prospects in over 3 decades. 30 years, folks. That's right, folks. The economic outlook is about as bright as a coal mine at midnight. Not exactly sunshine and rainbows. So, what's causing this global economic funk? Glad you asked. Well, there's no single answer, but a toxic cocktail of factors is to blame, including declining productivity, rising inequality, and a mountain of debt that would make even the most reckless gambler blush. Quite the mix, huh? It's enough to make you want to crawl under a rock and wait for the apocalypse. But hold on. Before you build your doomsday bunker, let's take a closer look at the challenges facing capitalism and explore some potential solutions. Because, believe it or not, there's still hope for our economic future. But first, we need to understand how we got into this mess. Ready? Let's go. Buckle up, it's going to be a bumpy ride. Remember the good old days when new technology meant we all got to work less and enjoy life more? Well, it feels like those days are long gone, doesn't it? Despite all the cool gadgets we have now, productivity growth has been slowing down for years. It's like we've hit a wall, and now we're all just spinning our wheels. Some economists say this slowdown is just a sign of our past successes. They argue that we've already picked all the low-hanging fruit of easy innovations, and now we're left with the tough stuff. It's like we've invented the iPhone and now we're scratching our heads for the next big idea. But others think there's more to it. They point to things like less investment in research and development, a gap between the skills workers have and the skills jobs need, and a rise in low-wage, low-productivity jobs. Basically, we're not putting enough into our future, we're not training people for the jobs of tomorrow, and we're creating an economy where too many are stuck in dead-end jobs. It's a recipe for economic stagnation. And then there's the issue of zombie companies. These are companies that survive on cheap credit and government bailouts, even though they're not really productive. They're like economic zombies, dead but still walking around. And just like in a zombie movie, these companies are draining the life out of the economy, stopping new, innovative businesses from growing. So, how do we solve this productivity puzzle? It's not easy, but it starts with investing in education and training, encouraging innovation and entrepreneurship, and dealing with these zombie companies. We need an economy where hard work pays off, where new ideas are welcomed, and where everyone has a shot at success. Otherwise, we'll all just keep working harder and harder for less and less.
Firstly, thank you for watching, and don't forget to smash that like, subscribe, and notification bell for more global finance uncovered, as we continue to work hard and around the clock to always deliver and improve on our content for you. We would greatly appreciate your additional support by you clicking the like button, notification bell, and subscribe button and joining our channel's growth.
The government. The entity we love to hate and hate to love. When it comes to the economy, the government's role is always a hot topic. Some folks say the government should just step aside and let the free market do its thing. Others think the government needs to step up, regulate the economy, and provide social safety nets. It's clear that government intervention can have both upsides and downsides. On one hand, regulations can protect consumers, workers, and the environment. They can also prevent monopolies and encourage competition. But too much regulation can stifle innovation, raise business costs, and slow down growth. It's all about finding that sweet spot. And let's not forget about government debt. Over the years, many developed countries have racked up huge debts, thanks to aging populations, rising healthcare costs, and the occasional financial crisis. While some debt is normal, too much can lead to higher interest rates, slower growth, and even debt crises. So, what's the solution? Well, it's complicated. There's no one-size-fits-all answer, and the best role for government varies by country. But one thing's for sure, we need governments that are fiscally responsible, regulate fairly, and invest in the future. Otherwise, we risk creating an economy that benefits the few at the expense of the many. Let's talk about the American dream. That idea that anyone, no matter where they come from, can make it big if they just work hard enough. It's a beautiful concept, but for many, it's slipping further and further away. Why is that? Well, the gap between the rich and the poor has been growing for years, creating a level of inequality that's not just unfair, but also bad for the economy. Some folks say that inequality is just part of capitalism. They argue that the most talented and hardworking people should get the biggest rewards and that inequality is just a sign of a merit-based system. But let's be real, it's way more complicated than that. Things like inherited wealth, access to good schools, and discrimination all play a huge role in who gets ahead. And when the gap between the rich and the poor gets too wide, it causes all sorts of problems. For one, it makes it really hard for people to move up in life. When a tiny group controls most of the wealth, it's tough for folks from poorer backgrounds to climb the economic ladder, no matter how hard they try. This means less innovation and fewer opportunities, as talent goes to waste. Plus, rising inequality can lead to social unrest and political instability. When people feel like the system is rigged, they lose faith in democracy and might turn to more extreme views. It's no surprise that countries with high inequality also face political and social turmoil. So, what can we do to fix this growing divide? Well, it's going to take a mix of solutions like fairer taxes, better education and job training, a stronger safety net, and campaign finance reform to reduce the power of money in politics. It's time to build an economy that works for everyone, not just the wealthy few. Welcome to Section 5, a world-divided geopolitical tensions simmer. As if economic challenges weren't enough, we're also seeing a surge in geopolitical tensions around the globe. From the rise of China to the ongoing conflict in Ukraine, the world is becoming more unstable and unpredictable. And, guess what? Economic insecurity is a big part of what's driving these tensions. Think about it. When countries are struggling economically, they're more likely to put up trade barriers, engage in resource nationalism, and view international cooperation with suspicion. It's a classic case of us versus them thinking, where countries prioritize their own interests over the common good. The rise of China is a prime example of how economic factors can shake up the geopolitical order. As China's economy has grown, so too has its assertiveness on the world stage. From territorial disputes in the South China Sea to trade wars with the United States, China is challenging the existing rules-based order and seeking to assert its influence globally. Meanwhile, the ongoing conflict in Ukraine has shown just how fragile global security can be, and highlighted how interdependence can be weaponized. The conflict has also led to soaring energy and food prices, further adding to economic anxieties around the world. So, what's the solution to all this geopolitical turmoil? Well, it's not going to be easy. It requires a commitment to diplomacy, multilateralism, and a rules-based international order. It also means addressing the economic insecurities that are fueling these tensions. This means promoting sustainable and inclusive economic growth, reducing inequality, and ensuring that the benefits of globalization are shared more equitably. Otherwise, we risk sleepwalking into a world of conflict and instability. Section 6. The human cost. Is capitalism failing us? We've talked a lot about the economic challenges facing capitalism, but let's not forget the human side of this story. Behind the cold, hard numbers are real people whose lives are being impacted every day. Think about the factory worker who loses their job to automation, or the single mother juggling multiple jobs just to make ends meet. The human toll of economic insecurity is real, and it's growing. One of the biggest criticisms of capitalism is that it puts profits over people. Critics say that the relentless chase for economic growth has come at the expense of our social well-being, environmental health, and even our humanity. They point to issues like income inequality, job insecurity, environmental degradation, and the erosion of social cohesion as signs that capitalism isn't meeting the needs of many people. And let's not forget the psychological toll of living in a hyper-competitive consumerist society. From the pressure to succeed to the constant bombardment of advertising, capitalism can create a sense of anxiety, inadequacy, and dissatisfaction that's hard to shake off. It's enough to make you want to chuck your smartphone in the ocean and go live in a yurt. So is capitalism inherently flawed? Is it incompatible with human flourishing? These are complex questions with no easy answers, but one thing is clear: we need to have a serious conversation about the values that underpin our economic system, and whether those values are serving us well. We need to ask ourselves, what kind of society do we want to live in? What are our priorities? And how can we create an economy that works for everyone, not just the privileged few? Welcome to Section 7. Time for a reboot, rethinking capitalism for the 21st century. We've talked about the problems, felt the human cost, and yes, even shed a few tears. But now comes the big question: what do we do about it? Should we ditch capitalism altogether and embrace something completely new? Or can we tweak it, reform it, and make it work for everyone? Before we throw the baby out with the bathwater, let's remember that capitalism has driven incredible progress and innovation. It's lifted billions out of poverty, spurred technological advancements, and created unprecedented levels of material abundance. So maybe the answer isn't to abandon capitalism, but to rethink and reform it for our times. One idea gaining traction is stakeholder capitalism. This approach says businesses should care not just about shareholders, but also employees, customers, suppliers, and communities. It's about creating a more sustainable and fair form of capitalism that benefits everyone. Another idea is to move towards a more human-centered economy. This means prioritizing well-being, sustainability, and social justice over just GDP growth. It's about valuing people and the planet over profits. It might sound idealistic, but it's a goal worth striving for. Section 8. A Path Forward. Solutions for a Sustainable Future. So, we need to rethink capitalism. But what does that actually look like in our daily lives? It's going to take a mix of smart policies, innovative businesses, and a shift in how we all think about success. Here are some ideas to kick things off. Invest in people. Everyone should have the chance to thrive in today's economy. This means better education, job training, and affordable childcare for all. And let's not forget access to healthcare, housing, and other essentials. Encourage sustainable business practices. Businesses have a huge role in shaping a sustainable future. This means going green, cutting waste, and investing in renewable energy. And treating employees right, with fair wages and good benefits. Tackle inequality. Extreme inequality isn't just unfair, it's bad for everyone. We need policies that promote fairness, like progressive taxes, higher minimum wages, and stronger social safety nets. Reform campaign finance. Money has too much sway in politics, making it tough to tackle big issues like inequality and climate change. We need to change campaign finance laws to give more power to everyday people. Think globally. The challenges we face are global, and so are the solutions. We need to come together as a global community to tackle issues like climate change, poverty, and inequality. This means strengthening international institutions, promoting fair trade, and helping developing countries. These are just a few ideas to get us started. The specific solutions will vary, but the goal is clear. We need an economy that's fair, sustainable, and works for everyone. It's a big challenge, but it's one we can't afford to ignore. Section 9. Conclusion: the future of capitalism. So, is capitalism on the brink of collapse? Well, it's definitely facing some serious challenges, but let's not write its obituary just yet. Capitalism has an incredible knack for adapting and evolving, and more people are realizing the need for change. The future of capitalism is really in our hands. It hinges on the choices we make, the policies we put in place, and the values we hold dear. If we keep going down the road of unchecked capitalism, then yes, the system might just collapse under its own weight. But if we're open to rethinking and reforming capitalism to make it fairer, more sustainable, and equitable, then there's still hope for a brighter future. The choice is ours. Let's make it count.
Thank you for watching, and don't forget to smash that subscribe, like, and notification bell for more global finance uncovered.